In our last episode of Rime of the Dark Sun, the player characters had just confronted and seemingly defeated the Sorcerer-King Kalak in exile, only for him to complete his ascendancy to dragonhood at the very last minute and fly up out of his fortress towards the city of Tyr in order to wreak havoc and possibly destroy it. It is now up to the player characters to pursue him and stop him before he can destroy the entire city and maybe what lies beyond. Welcome to PhD&D, everyone. I'm Dr. Bowers, and this is part 6 of our 8-part series, Rime of the Dark Sun, in which we take the Wizards of the Coast module, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden, and convert it into a Dark Sun adventure. This conversion is meant to be easy and lazy. It does not involve creating any new subsystems or implementing any new rules on top of the core 5th edition D&D rule set. Instead, it is an exercise in reskinning, repositioning, retelling, and rearranging elements which are already there for us to use in the module. In this video, we're going to be covering Chapter 4 of Rime of the Frostmaiden, Destruction's Light. Let's get to it. The player characters have just seemingly defeated Sorcerer-King Kalak, and now he's turned into a dragon and left. For the statistics of Kalak's dragon form, we are just going to use the statistics of the Shardalen dragon. So let's look at that. So here we are, the Shardalen dragon. This will be King Kalak's dragon form. It won't look like this. It will look much more like a Dark Sun dragon, of course. If we take a look at its ability contours, we'll know that it has an enormously high strength and constitution, which is good, but its intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores are incredibly low, especially charisma, a -4 to charisma with only a score of 3. Now, if a creature has an incredibly low charisma score and also doesn't have legendary resistance, then that thing was basically made to be banished. And we don't want that to happen to our Sorcerer King. Besides, Kalak is a wizard, so he should probably have a higher intelligence than 10. Let's just bump all those mental ability scores up to 16, adding a +3 to each one, and that should make this plenty difficult of a boss monster to face already. We don't necessarily need to add legendary resistance, but you might want to consider it, maybe add 1 use of legendary resistance. The fact that it's immune to being charmed is pretty useful, and as we can see, it hits like a truck. This is very good. My favorite feature of this monster, however, is its malevolent presence. This malevolent presence does not work in the same way that, say, a terrifying aura might work from a dragon or a giant. This malevolent presence forces anyone within a certain radius to make a wisdom save, or else be charmed in a way where they immediately start attacking their allies. That is devastating. And it is the perfect sort of thing to reskin as defiling sorcerer magic, something more powerful than the psionics which the player characters can use. And it's got this cool radiant breath. Anyway, back to the chapter. Basically, what's going to happen is this. The player characters are going to chase down Kalak in his dragon form, find him destroying the city of Tyr, confront him, hopefully defeat him, and deal with the ensuing chaos, trying to save as many people and prevent as much destruction as they can. We're going to completely remove this encounter with Valine and her snowy owl familiar, and the Icewind kobolds and all this stuff. In the original adventure as written, Valine is a character that seems shoehorned in here in order to move the adventure along to the city of Yithrin after Destruction's Light. We have our own way of moving things along, so we'll ignore that. As far as the dragon's flight path is concerned, and as far as its specific trajectory and all of this stuff, we are going to simplify that a lot. The dragon is just going to one place, Tyr. Once it's there, it's going to destroy as much of Tyr as it can. It will take 2 hours for the dragon to reach Tyr, and when the players arrive, no matter when they actually arrive, they will find the dragon destroying whichever part of Tyr the players found most enjoyable and had the most fun adventuring in. If the players really loved the smithing district and have a lot of memories from the NPCs there, then definitely have the battle begin and take place in the smithing district. If, on the other hand, they loved the nobles district or even the village of Saltview, you'll want to make sure that at some point the battle is moved there. Once the characters arrive, they will be able to see Kalak in the form of a dragon doing damage and destroying the town from a distance, hovering above and using its radiant breath in order to blow up houses and set people on fire. At the same time, the people whose life force he converted into magical energy in order to ascend into dragonhood now walk the city as ghastly undead. It should not be too difficult for the player characters to get the dragon's attention. Kalak remembers them, after all, and regards it as an unnecessarily close call when they came into his chamber just as he was completing his ascendancy ritual. He holds a little grudge, in other words, and may want to fight the PCs. As far as weather conditions are concerned, we could have it occur in broad daylight. I think that's very striking and dramatic. And we could also have it occur during a sandstorm if you want things to be particularly turbulent. NPCs from Tyr can help in the ways described here. We're going to ignore Valine again. And when it comes to other things characters can do, I love these encounters, I love the tables. Keep all of it, of course change cold to hot and change snow to sand. And make sure that you describe the Duergar as being Templars. One thing we are going to change, however, is the roll of 10 to 14, which generates malevolent townsfolk. These will not be malevolent townsfolk, these will be ghouls. Ghouls created by the evil of Kalak's magic when he siphoned their life force into his own magical chamber to ascend into the form of a dragon. Likewise, I would change the doppelganger here into a ghoul, which only looks from a distance or looks at first like a victim or an innocent member of the town. And that will actually be most of the chapter. You're going to want to go into detail at certain points, describing the effects of the destruction, of people screaming and houses collapsing, and the enormous bulk of a dragon soaring overhead and strafing the area with magical fire. You'll want to embellish these descriptions with those encounters about what else the PCs can do to help. And, as this module recommends, you may want Kalak's dragon form to periodically retreat for a short time, perhaps long enough for one of those other things the PCs can do, and then return. One exception to this, I think, is that despite Kalak being a shrewd tactician, I think it would be satisfying for the player characters to be able to slay him. Make it seem as though Kalak is trying to retreat only too late, or that in his anger and revenge he cannot help himself. Now, once Kalak's dragon form is defeated, all of the remaining speakers of the town, the authorities, and the important townsfolk will assemble, and they will thank the PCs profusely, offering them all kinds of rewards. At the same time, they will be approached by a wizened elder, someone who has hid in the community and survived the attack, and who has knowledge of ancient things. This elder will reveal that he or she is in possession of an ancient artifact. An artifact made from the same material as, or an artifact whose form matches that of the mysterious artifact which one of your PCs will have due to being unique and mysterious. They will explain the fables and legends which say that things of such a make come from a jungle far to the east, where the plants still grow green and the earth still yields life. If the player characters have a quest of self-discovery amongst their goals, then here a journey is set out before them. Go to those jungles, find out what that mysterious artifact is, and learn about their past. Or, if the player characters are simply enjoying being heroes, they have a journey set out before them. Go to those jungles, see if it's true, see if there's anything valuable they can bring back, or any way they can help their shattered community. And so the player characters are going to embark towards those jungles, with which we will replace the Caves of Hunger. That'll be our next video. Anyway, that's part 6 of Rime of the Dark Sun. I hope these videos are fun and informative. If you want to see when the next one drops, make sure that you hit that bell icon so you get all of the notifications about content on this channel. As always, please hit like and subscribe, and thanks very much for watching. See you next time.